Every nation in the end gets the violence it deserves, not because the people are wicked by nature, but because the leaders are mirrors and a people cannot rise above the reflection their rulers cast upon them. Look at the governors. Look at the president. Look not at their titles, awards. Look not at their convoy. Don't focus on their praise singers whose expertise are flattery. But look deeper into their character. Their character reflects as the character of the country, and you will see the country in all its glory and all its ruin. Hello. Nigeria is not cursed. We are not victims of bad luck. We are not prisoners of a hostile geography. Neither are we orphans of history. But we are bogged down by the character of our political leadership. So what is character? Character is not what a leader says on television, not the speech written by a media assistant and delivered on Independence Day. Character is not the slogan on a billboard that will be recycled for the next election. Character is the invisible hand that writes the laws in the quiet times when no camera is watching. Character is the voice inside the governor's head that chooses a thug over a teacher. That character, that voice in the head of a governor that chooses a contractor over a clinic, that chooses a foreign bank account over a local road. Character is the hunger that can never be filled, not by money, not by power, not by the 1,000 titles that sycophants invent to hide the emptiness of the leader. A leader with good character builds bridges between communities that have forgotten how to speak to one another. A leader with bad character burns those bridges, then blames the fire on the other tribe, and the other tribe, and the other tribe, until every group in the nation is holding a patrol, looking for something to burn. The program is State Affairs on Splash 105.5 FM, the Integrity Station. I am Edmond Opilo. Good morning. Violence does not fall from the sky like rain. Violence is not a natural disaster that strikes without warning. Violence is a policy, a deliberate, deniable policy that unfolds over decades. When a government ignores the Niger Delta, for 60 years, pumping oil and pumping poison while children fish in black water and old women cough blood, violence becomes the only language left for our people who have been told again and again that their suffering does not matter. When a government lets children wander the streets of the Northeast, hungry, homeless, hopeless, with no school to attend and no meal to expect, violence becomes their father and mother, the only hand that reaches for them. When a government refuses to answer the question of ethnic hegemony, when it pretends that one tribe's dominance is not a threat to every other tribe's existence, violence becomes the election, the primary, the court judgment, the final argument of a desperate people. And then the leaders stand before cameras and they shake their heads in manufactured sorrow. What a wicked people we have, they say. No, violence is not in our character. Hey, don't mind them. It is their character that reflects as the violence that besieges the nation. Come with me. I don't want you to forget. Always remember. As you remember, you reflect deeper. Governments in Nigeria have failed to understand that encouraging the politics of ethnic hegemony is a threat to national security. One reason for this behavior is the absence of genuine appreciation of national progress, thus producing leaders that are self-conceited and short-sighted. This character of leadership makes the country a river of endless violence since independence in 1960. In our recent history, it is about the indigenous people of Biafra, IPOB. It is about the Niger Delta Avengers. It's about terrorist headsmen. It's about Boko Haram. In the past, it was the Civil War, Operation Wetier, Mai Tai Sene, Zango Kataf killings, for example, and the many religious killings in Kano, Kaduna. The militant uprising in the Niger Delta arose from the question of resource control and exploitation. Tekena Tamuno, in his book Oil Wars in the Niger Delta, describes the uprising as seeking freedom from internal imperialism. The Nigerian state failed to address the fundamental issues raised in the 1990 Ogoni Bill of Rights on the platform of the movement for the survival of the Ogoni people, MASSOP, and on the platform of the 1998 Kayama Declaration of the Ijaw Nation. These were demands to end years of environmental damage and underdevelopment in the Niger Delta. Instead of tackling the legitimate demands, the Nigerian state militarized the region, leading to militant reactions from the people. The issue of oil spillage and environmental pollution of the zone is yet to be addressed, but the Nigerian state carries on with the reluctance to make lasting confidence building measures in the Niger Delta. The Boko Haram scourge in the northeast of Nigeria is a repeat of the Mai Tai Sene uprising in the 1980s in the north. The Nigerian state, having driven the deadly set underground, went to sleep. It carried on with its usual maladministration, leading to the crisis of Boko Haram. After Mai Tai Sene, the Nigerian government failed to tackle the poor education system and unbearable poverty in the northern part of the country. The government's action and inaction have resulted in increased number of homeless and hungry children on the streets of the north. These children are easily lured into activities that threaten national peace and cohesion. That explains the rise in violence in northern Nigeria carried out by terrorist herdsmen, bandits, as they are also known. It has crept into the south, so wait for it. Cases abound of how the Nigerian state failed to resolve the issues bedeviling it. One of the headaches of the Buhari government was Nnamdi Kanu and his indigenous people of Biafra. The group calls for the self-determination of the Igbo people. This coming more than 50 years after the Nigerian Civil War draws attention to the delicate unity of the Nigerian state. The result of the agitation will be determined by the resolve of the state to address the ethnic question. Don't forget, the agitation took a more dangerous dimension with the aggressive incursion of terrorizing herdsmen into Igbo land, leading to the formation of the Eastern Nigeria Security Network, a militant arm of IPOB with the aim of defeating herdsmen terrorism. Note, as terrorist herdsmen are resisted in Igbo land, they are fought against in Yoruba land, they are fought against in the Middle Belt, South, and even in the Northwest and Northeast. It is assumed that ethnic groups are united against Fulani herdsmen, a representation of the Fulani ethnic group. That this happened under the administration of President Muhammadu Buhari, a Fulani man, and is happening in Tinubu's time gives critique the logic to take to town that there is a plot to Fulanize the Nigerian state, leading to ethnic resistances. This theory worsens the suspicion among the ethnic nationalities, but if it is not addressed urgently, will lead to unimaginable consequences. That the Sunday Igbos are now emerging to defend their ethnic groups from what they term Fulani aggression sparks fear and discomfort about the peace and unity of the state. That political leaders take the argument of Fulani herdsmen and banditry to the world in press conferences shows the heat of the raging fire. Samuel Utom was the governor of Benue State from 2015 to 2023. In a press conference on Wednesday the 3rd of February 2021, Utom did not mince words on the Fulani question.
So this question of arresting those who oppose to Fulani men. I also heard about the press statement issued by the presidency when the governor of Ondo issued a 7-day ultimatum that the Fulani should leave the forest. The presidency came out swiftly and said that it is wrong for him to say that. But when people are killed in Benue, killed in Ondo, killed in Ekiti, killed in Taraba, killed in Jigawa, killed in Zamfara, killed in all these places by these herdsmen, and they come out, there is one Fulani social cultural organization called FUNA who came out and claimed responsibility and said that they are going to do more. They will mobilize Fulanis from all over the place to come and take over Nigeria, that it is their ancestral land. Presidency did not say anything. But they quickly ordered the arrest of an activist who stood up to speak and to work against his people. What else will you do? When you see your people being killed, you see your people's farm being razed down by herdsmen, what else will you do? It's just the same thing. The World Terrorist Index have described Fulani as the 4th terrorist group in the world. But up to today, they have not cared, the federal government have not cared to declare herdsmen as terrorist organization. And they have gone further to form Miati Allah, Cattle Hore, Miati Allah, Cattle Breeders, Miati Allah, this one, Funam, that one. And federal government is romancing with them. And federal government comes out to defend them. Anything, time something happens to them. But when they cause pains in the lives of other people, federal government will keep quiet. Federal government have gone ahead to ban iPod. Why can't they ban? What did iPod do that they went ahead and banned them? This one that Fulanis are taking over everywhere under the watch of the presidency, and they're not saying anything. What is the meaning of that? What are they trying to say? When you talk, they will come after you. Some people are afraid in this country to talk because if they come, EFCC will come after them. ICPC will come after them. Security agencies will come after them. They did that to me. And I went to court against them and I won. They did that to me. They tried to impeach me. But by the grace of God, I survived. So these are the issues. So why do you need to go and talk about that man must be arrested? How about the Fulani men that killed people, remove people's eyes, give people gradual killing? Have you made any attempt to arrest them? All these things are all over the place on social media. And that is why I'm calling on Mr. President to act fast. Otherwise, it will be late. And all of us will be consumed. We may wake up one day and we'll discover that we don't have a country called Nigeria again.
State Affairs with Edmondo Bilo is live.
That was the governor of Benue State from 2015 to 2023. He made that statement on the 3rd of February 2021, and he was speaking directly to Muhammadu Buhari, President of Nigeria, 2015 to 2023. In qualifying the difference between the modern democratic state and its colonial version, Mahmoud Mamdani is of the view that the modern state ensures equal citizenship in political society while acknowledging difference in civil society. But its colonial counterpart institutionalized difference in both the polity and society. By Mahmoud Mamdani's view, Nigeria remains a colonial state, not a modern democratic state. That is the meaning of Otom's outburst, having run out of patience with the manner President Buhari handled the explosive situation. At the time, Otom attacked the situation frontally, but Seyi Makinde of Oyo State recognized the danger ahead, but tactically avoided looking at the situation with an ethnic lens. You remember the Igogon issue? When Sunday Igboho and friends went to Igogo to push out the Seriki Fulani. Do not forget. At the time, Seyi Makinde talked of a threatened fragile peace. That is recognizing the dangers lurking around. Seyi Makinde noted that existing in the Yoruba of his time, existing in the Nigeria of his time, is the tension between farmers in Yoruba land and herdsmen from the Fulani ethnic group. At the time of his speech in January 2021, no matter how hard Seyi avoided the ethnic reality of the situation, what was obvious and still obvious is that there is existential threat pitting others against the Fulani. Underlying Seyi Makinde's approach was the recognition of the urgency to douse tension at the time. But his counterpart in Benue State, Samuel Otom, had seen enough killings that he could not mask his feelings. I can hear him say, "Why is the federal government being silent about these Fulani headsmen? When will the federal government come out and criticize and arrest headsmen carrying AK-47? When are they going to do that? Are we second-class citizens in this country? Why is the Fulani man superior to the thief man? I am not their slave. A Benue man is not slave to any Fulani man in this country." It is the outburst of Otom. Let's go back into time.
State Affairs with Edmondo Bilo is live. Stay tuned.
This country belongs to all of us. And the federal government, the presidency, must act fast because time is going. From north, west, northeast, north central, southwest, southeast, south, there is general insecurity. And this is being prepared by herdsmen. I want to repeat again, I have made it a petition to the presidency and to all security agencies before, that if they want peace, Mayor Tiala must be arrested. These are people who have owned up. They have taken responsibility that they have killed, they maimed, they rape, and do all sorts of atrocities. And yet their leadership is in Abuja, and nobody is confronting them. And until these people are arrested, when I talk, I was being vilified. Nothing bad that was not said against me. I am this and that. But the reality is here. It is not just happening to Benue State today. It is happening to the entire country. Why is the federal government being silent about this Fulani men? When will the federal government come out and criticize and arrest herdsmen carrying AK-47? When are they going to do that? Are we second citizens in this country? What gives Fulani man superior to any other person, to a tip man? I am not their slave. A Benue man is not a slave to any Fulani man in this country.
Here we go.
State Affairs with Edmond Obilo is live. Stay tuned.
And so federal government must do this. At a point in time, the federal government came out with a policy through the police that even those with licensed den guns, double barrel and pump action should surrender to police. How many times have the presidency come out to condemn that Fulani men are carrying AK-47 all over the place? This is not correct. We stand for justice, equity, and fairness. Whatever is happening to a Fulani man should also happen to any other person. That was why I called federal government to license me and many others to have guns, to have AK-47 too. Because if I have my AK-47, a Fulani man is coming there, he knows that I have, and he has. Then we can fight each other. But you can't disarm me and arm a Fulani man. This is the point. So this is not right. The federal government is biased, is unfair. The failure in security is caused by federal government.
The outburst of Otom, that Samuel Otom attained that level of disgust, is the reason for caution. Perhaps Sheyi Makinde can help us understand why Otom was that angry at the time and he was not. Anyway, the nature of men differs. But if Sheyi was saying that the herdsman searching for grass in another man's farm is not a trespasser, a lawbreaker, who then is a trespasser and a lawbreaker?
We have a common enemy. The enemy is not the Hausa Fulani who is looking for pasture for his flock. It is not the farmer who just wants to grow food to sell in the market or to feed his family. Our enemies are the hoodlums, cultists, armed robbers, kidnappers, and bandits. These people live among us. We have constitutionally empowered people who arrest and prosecute these criminals. Our job as active citizens is to help them where we can to identify these enemies. Report any criminals and criminal activities you are privy to, and let the authorities take action. If you see something, say something.
State Affairs with Edmond Obilo is live.
That was Shea Makinde, Governor of Oyo State, in 2021. If you see something, say something. Anyway, I understand that in times like this, we must manage our emotions and not inflame passion. There are bandits in every tribe, but the rate at which fingers point at the Fulani bandit calls for urgent and decisive response from the Nigerian leadership. This analysis therefore suggests that peace and unity exist when Nigeria undergoes a transition from its old federal structure to a modern state of co-equality and social justice. Remember, Professor John Ayoade makes the point that to the extent that people perceive the hegemony of one state or group of states over the other, no matter whether it is a true or wrong perception, it can lead to strain or explosion in the federal setup. Due to our reluctance to do good, we create an irrational state. We create a monstrous state in which the quality of citizenship is defined by ethnic, regional, and religious affiliations. And we set ourselves up for violence. Let the talk begin. Call the radio station. Call the radio man. Call on WhatsApp 080 999 18449. Call on WhatsApp 080 999 18449. Once I pick your call, listen to me on the phone, not your radio, because there will be delay on your radio, because I am transmitting through the internet. If you are monitoring through your radio, you will experience a delay and you might get confused. So once I pick your call, you will know. It begins to count. So you listen to my voice through your phone, not your radio. And remember to turn down the volume of your device. So the number to call to join the discourse is 080 999 18449. I will not give you more than 3 minutes. So once it is counting on your phone and it's getting to 3 minutes, begin to round off. Thank you for understanding. It is Splash 105.5 FM, the Integrity Station. The Radio Man is here. All right, let's take this one from John Oguche Onyisi. Hello, John. Hello.
Hello, good morning, Edmond.
Yes, good morning, John.
And good morning, Nigerians. You see, there is a little conflict between what Autumn posited and what Shea Makinde also said. But the big question now is this.
John, can you turn down the volume of your radio?
Hello, can you hear me now?
I can hear you, but turn down the volume of your radio.
I've gone away from there.
All right, thank you.
there's a bit different or something distinctive between what Autumn said and what Shema Kinde stood for. But the big question now should go to Shema Kinde. How did he see now that his stage has been touched by the same people who was saying we are not our problem as of 2021? The problem with us in Nigeria is that the moment somebody is saying anything very raw that is going to be of benefit to everybody, we try to leave that person to be used as an scapegoat. Now that they have finished from Benue, they have finished from Plateau, they have finished from National State, they have finished killing people in Southern Kaduna, they have come to the Southwest, and it is hitting into the Southwest like a wildfire. People have been kidnapped, children have been taken captive. Then tell me, how will he feel? Who is the enemy? Is it the Curtis? Or is it the people he said are the Yahoo boys that are carrying gun now? Or the armed robbers, the known armed robbers that we have been staying with for long? So he should now use his teeth to cut his, use his tongue to cut his teeth and see the difference. They left Autumn there that time when Autumn was crying like a baby. Now it is his turn. Is he going to cry like Autumn? Good morning.
Thank you. Thank you, John Oguche Onyisi. Hello, good morning. Hello, good morning. All right, I'll take one more call before I call for a break. So who is that caller? 080-999-18449. Hello, good morning.
Good morning, Monopino. This Kewule is easy. Good to hear from you again. Mine is just to appeal to, because lately we had the chief of staff up to the president saying that the state police bill is on the table. I mean, that brought a slight of hope for Nigerians when we had that. But they should expedite action on it, because that's our only saving grace now. Now, I mean, the bill should have been the talk on the floor of the lawmakers. I don't think there's any other thing that they have any business with than to debate on the establishment of state policing. I mean, we should be hearing that the bill should be in second or third reading. That should be their most important discussion on the floor, because nobody is safe. They are not safe as well. Some of them are going to return to their constituents or to their home. They should understand that. It's not only when they have the chance to travel out of the country. Anything can happen to anybody now. So the only saving grace, the only favor they need to do for us is to expedite that bill to become a law, so that every state can take care of their region. It's very important. That's what I want to say now.
Thank you.
Thank you to hear from you.
Thank you. It is Splash 105.5 FM, the Integrity Station. Stay tuned, stay cool. If you are listening on radio, you will hear some adverts. If you are online, stay with me. You can still begin to call. So make the call if you are listening online. Good morning. Hello.
Hello.
Good morning.
Morning. Good morning, Edmond. I'm Obembe by name. I'm calling from Ibadan. You see, this security problem, Yorubas have a saying. When they say carry it, carry it, carry it, if you don't join them to carry it, they will put it at your backyard. It has a very sweet way of saying it in Yoruba language. When this insecurity started in the Northeast, I was in Maiduguri as a corps member in 2003. We saw one soldier killed then. The excuse was that his gun jammed. When Obasanjo deployed, I think the whole of Nigeria had only one helicopter or two helicopters then. They were deployed to Maiduguri to flush them out from the terrain which they were hidden. And things grew. So when people say Boko Haram started in 2009, I was in Maiduguri in 2004. They drove the casualties through the Lagos street in Maiduguri where I lived then. And I had interest in Maiduguri because I almost got a teaching job in the university then. But because of distance, I didn't wait. So my love for the place kept me in constant touch with friends and colleagues who stayed back and with people in the university. Aside what I hear in the news, this thing grew gradually. Later, I took over the entire northeast. With what Autumn said, you see the contrast with what Seyi Makinde said. It's a matter of political correctness. As at then, when Autumn was screaming, these Fulani were also in the southwest. Were they operating? Yes, they were operating. I have a close person. He was the procurement officer for Polytechnic Esauke. Esauke is just a town after Elisha. This man was kidnapped. He's someone very close to me. When he was released, I asked him. He told me all the routes through which they walked. And he confirmed they were the Fulani people that kidnapped them. And that is just not the only instance. You yourself, I think, mentioned, you remember a story then, a visiting couple with their daughter or so from United States at a flat tire somewhere between Elisha and Akure. What happened? The mother had to offer herself to be raped to save the 9 or 11-year-old daughter from assault. This thing has been going on, but political correctness will make a leader to be mute. Why some people believe, generally I also believe, we should avoid ethnic profiling. But why should it be comfortable for us to say Ekbesu boys, Niger Delta militants, and so uncomfortable to say Fulani herdsmen? Why is this systematically incorrect? People want us to believe, not to say Fulani herdsmen. When you call a crime by its name, then it can be dealt with. I believe this political correct. Seyi Makinde in his statement was saying, see something, say something. Trust you me, if I see anything now, who do I want to call? Edmond, if you see something, who do you want to call? Aside personal contact, I've had reason to call Commissioner of Police, not current, I must emphasize, in the past. Once they hear the story, the next minute their phone is off. Because they also don't want to disturb anybody by 10, 11, 12 midnight. We don't have the system, the leaders are not going the system to even say something in the list. Aside providing a response. I rest my case for now. Good morning.
Thank you. Hello. Hello, good morning.
Yeah, good morning. This is Fields calling from Ibadan. Yeah, I want to just say something. I was watching a video yesterday about some of the soldiers that were sentenced to death. And the soldier was saying something. It was during Goodluck Jonathan's time that they gave them weapon to fight these Boko Haram people about the Chibok girls and all. But after some time, after 7 months, they only lost like 2 soldiers in 120 that was sent for special force. And after 7 months, they started withdrawing all their weapons gradually, only leaving them with rifles to face these people. It was because they asked for those weapons back. The mine detector that can detect mines 300 meters away, which is making the fight efficient for them. These things were happening in the north. The people in the west here would not say anything. Now it has gotten to Oyo State. Now we are seeing protests all around. It is going to get to everybody if we don't act immediately. What is happening in Oyo State now? We said they kidnapped some children and teachers. Nothing was done. Now we heard news of a politician that they kidnapped the family members. Now we started seeing police and lockdown all around, which is not supposed to be. This lockdown should have been since all this while. And they said Amotekun, they've been fighting to get normal ammunition for them. They did not, will I say, give them the right to get all these things. How are we going to fight them if we don't work together? Thank you. That's what I have to say.
Thank you. Thank you for making this call. Hello.
Yeah, good morning, Edmond. I'm Mazi. I'm calling from Germany. Good morning from here.
Good morning.
Yeah, Edmond, very unfortunate what is happening in Nigeria. Very, very unfortunate. And you know, one thing with we Nigerians, we are not honest people. You know, because I could remember when Otom was shouting, when Otom was crying, when his life was in danger, when these people were following him, you know, up and down to kill him. You know, at least he survived a lot of assassination as a governor because he ordered all the state assembly in Benue State enacted a law that stopped these people from, you know, from grazing openly in Benue State. Even some his fellow governors mocked him. The governor of Plateau State then mocked him, even though the same people were ravaging Plateau State. He mocked him. All the whole governors mostly in the northern Nigeria, he became his enemies because this man was vocal. Because this man asked, what did Nnamdi Kanu do? What did Nnamdi Kanu do? And Edmond, remember, why Nnamdi Kanu established his ESN was not against any Fulani man or any northerner who is living in the street in Umuahia or in Onitsha or in Aba. No. It was because of these people, marauders, who live in the bushes in Igbo land, who were committing crimes, atrocity against Igbo people in their own ancestral land, and they're still doing so in Igbo land. That is the reason why Nnamdi Kanu established that ESN, and you saw how Buhari quickly, decimated his ESN, kidnapped Nnamdi Kanu in Kenya, and the Tinubu's regime jailed Nnamdi Kanu for life for doing what? For saying if Fulanis want to live with us, let them come out from the bushes and live with us in Igbo land, rent shops, rent houses amongst us, and live like human beings. Only animals live in Serengeti forest. Edmond, you have traveled, across South, East Africa. Where do you see these things happening? Those people, they have even more cows than Nigeria. I think Zambia or Botswana, they have more cows than Nigeria. Have you seen any person being killed?
It is Splash 105.5 FM, the Integrity Station. The program is State Affairs. Are you there? The line is open. Join the discourse. Let me remind you of what Otom said and what Seyi Makinde said at the same time when Fulanese were hitting the ground running in different regions of Nigeria. It is Splash 105.5 FM.
And so federal government must do this. At a point in time, the federal government came out with a policy through the police that even those with license, den guns, double barrel and pump action should surrender to police. How many times have the presidency come out to condemn that Fulani men are carrying AK-47 all over the place? This is not correct. We stand for justice, equity, and fairness. Whatever is happening to a Fulani man should also happen to any other person. That was why I called federal government to license me and many others to have guns, to have AK-47 too. Because if I have my AK-47, a Fulani man is coming there, he knows that I have, and he has. Then we can fight each other. But you can't disarm me and arm a Fulani man. This is the point. So this is not right. The federal government is biased, is unfair. The failure in security is caused by federal government.
State Affairs with Edmondo Bilo is live.
Here we go.
State Affairs with Edmond Obilo is live. Stay tuned.
We have a common enemy. The enemy is not the Hausa Fulani who is looking for pasture for his flock. It is not the farmer who just wants to grow food to sell in the market or to feed his family. Our enemies are the hoodlums, cultists, armed robbers, kidnappers, and bandits. These people live among us. We have constitutionally empowered people who will arrest and prosecute these criminals. Our job as active citizens is to help them where we can to identify these enemies. Report any criminals and criminal activities you are privy to, and let the authorities take action. If you see something, say something.
Hello. Good morning.
Good morning, Mr. Edmund. Hello.
I can hear you.
Okay, my name is Solomon. Yeah, concerning our security, Mr. Edmund, I'll start from what U.S. The press release that comes from the U.S. that says Army, police conniving with terrorists against Nigerians. That is the news that comes from UK, I think US. Taking it from there, what can we do as citizens? The only set of people that have right to carry guns are our police and army. Now, they are working against us. Nigerian youths have no right to carry guns. I mean, talking about self-defense, where I'm going. We have no right to carry guns. Now, the only people that have right to carry guns are our police and army. Now they are against us. They are conniving with terrorists. Even we can see the evidence clearly. Children are in the bush for over 3 weeks. Both federal and state government has nothing to do about it, which means that they have no capacity to handle it. Nigerian army has no capacity to handle it. So what do we do? Nothing. Nothing. Absolutely nothing. We are helpless in Nigeria. The only solution now is to call on foreign assistance. And this is what everybody is against. The only thing we need to do is foreign assistance. We are helpless. Children are in the forest. State governments are working free. Everybody's working freely. Thank you, Edmund.
Thank you. Thank you for calling the radio station. Hello. Can you hear me?
Hello.
Good morning.
Good morning.
Your name and where you're calling from?
Yeah, I'm Sunday Ademola, and I'm calling from Jericho area in Ibadan.
The ball is in your court.
Yeah. Now, I want to say that, number one, what Tom have said and what Seyi Makinde have said, they have all said the truth, because if you hear what Seyi Makinde said, he said it is not a farmer. And of course, it cannot be the innocent herdsmen, but we have the militants among them, we have the criminals among them. And you can see then what really should happen is the action by bringing up the Amotekun to tackle them. And of course, at this junction, we should be able to remember late Akeredolu. He has done so fantastic. He was the one that stood against the federal government then that the Southwest must have their Amotekun. Despite the fact that Akeredolu was at the same party with the then president. And of course, not just the same party, is in the caucus of Buhari, because then they have two leaders in APC, Asiwaju side and Buhari side. And he belongs to Buhari side, and he was able to put it to his face that they are going to have a Amotekun. Unfortunately, that they were not empowered to carry a sophisticated weapon. And that has been what has limited us till today. And somebody would be expecting that when Tinubu came in, he could quickly allow them and give them a permission to carry. Because as it is now, the major problem we have is that our politicians there, they don't have the willpower to just face and tackle these criminals, these Fulanis, jihadis, or criminal militants. They don't have it. All of them, they are going there, the ministers, the House of National Assembly, they were just there to go and take their own national cake, siphon the public fund and so on, standing on mandate. So they don't have what it takes to govern. They don't have what it takes to protect the citizen. Any battle, any war, any security that cross border, that threaten the territory integrity of the nation, of course, should be prioritized, should be the thing that the federal government will face squarely and make sure that they deal with it. But the only solution that can happen now is to allow individual states, because not all states we have sympathy, just like Benue, what Tom have said. Not all states we have sympathy. There are some states that they are going to, if they are allowed to carry their weapons, sophisticated weapons, they are going to deal and defend their states if the federal government cannot do it. So we are going to beg them, this issue of state police, they should allow it pass and allow the state government to take the security of their state if the federal government has failed to save and secure the country. So allow the state police to fly and allow them to carry as many weapons as they can. There are some states that have money, like Lagos State. They'll be able to buy a lot of weapons, big weapons, and of course, defend their citizens, which I believe Oyo State will also not be lacking behind to defend their state. But as it is now, it is the failures of their leadership, failures of the politicians, failures of the people that were put in trust to secure the country. And may God deliver us from this situation. Thank you. Good morning, Mr. Obilo.
Thank you. Thank you for calling. Thank you. It is Splash 105.5 FM, the Integrity Station. Think of the Civil War. Think of the Civil War, 1967 to 1978, to 1970, rather. More than 1 million dead. And why did that war happen? Why? The war happened not because Igbo and Hausa or Fulani and Yoruba cannot live together. They had lived together for decades, traded together, married together, built together. The Civil War happened because leaders could not sit in a room and share power. Because pride was bigger than compassion. Because my tribe must rule was louder than our children must live. That was a failure of character, not a failure of ethnicity. Then came Meitaisene in the 1980s, and Zango Kataf and Kafanchan, and 100 other names that were not printed. Then Boko Haram, then IPOB. Now we talk about terrorist headsmen, bandits. One crisis ends, another begins, and in between, there is only crocodile tears from leaders who have run out of ideas and have no character to fall back on. A philosopher once said, and he said that many years ago, that the price of apathy is to be ruled by evil men. But I will add something, that the price of choosing the same men again and again, election after election, disappointment after disappointment, that is not apathy. That is a death wish by the people who choose them. Look at the leader's character, and you will predict the nation's future with terrifying accuracy. Did you get that? Look at the leader's character, and you will predict the nation's future with terrifying accuracy. A self-conceited leader, swollen with his own importance, will never listen to anyone who disagrees with him. He will build walls, not roads. He will surround himself with the echoes of his own voice. And the country will fracture along the fault lines of his ego, because an ego that large cannot contain a nation so diverse. A short-sighted leader who cannot see beyond the next election cycle or the next offshore account will steal tomorrow to feed today. Are you there? A short-sighted leader who cannot see beyond the next election cycle or the next offshore account will steal tomorrow to feed today. He will spend oil money on bullets and tear gas, not on books and hospitals. He will call it security. But security without justice is just organizing, waiting for the next explosion, the next kidnapping, the next massacre that will force him to hold another press conference where he says the same words he said the last time. A leader who believes in ethnic supremacy, who wakes up each morning and waters the tree of hatred, will tell his tribe, "You are the real Nigerians. The rest are merely guests." And guests, my friend, do not die for the house when it catches fire. Remember, when leaders are guests in the country they govern, they do not die for the house when it catches fire. They buy private jets waiting to fly away. They run. They burn down the countries themselves. Because a house that calls you a guest for 50 years is not a home. So they will destroy it. The reason they will buy houses in every part of the world waiting to fly away. The reason they will not improve the hospitals, because there are already patients in advanced hospitals in other countries. To them, Nigeria is not home. It's a place to milk and destroy. A word is enough for the wise. Come. I don't want you to forget. Always remember. Samuel Otom, or Otom, has cried out. He made his point bluntly. I remember the 25th of January 2018. Buhari had a Minister of Defense called Mansour Mohammed Dan Ali. Mansour Mohammed Dan Ali briefed journalists on Thursday, the 25th of January 2018. And he said, "Look at this issue. Killings in Benue and Taraba. What is the remote causes of this farmers' crisis?" he asked. Then he answers, "Since the nation's independence, we know there used to be a route which the cattle rearers take because they are all over the nation." He continues, "You go to Bayelsa, Ogun, you will see the cattle routes. If those routes are blocked, what do you expect will happen?" he asked. He continues, "These Fulani people are Nigerians. It is just like one going to block shoreline. Does that make sense to you? These are the remote causes of the crisis, but the immediate cause is the grazing law in Benue. These people are Nigerians, and we must learn to live together with each other. Communities and other people must learn to accept foreigners within their enclave." Finish, he concluded. That was Buhari's Minister of Defense, Mansour Mohammed Dan Ali, briefing journalists on the 25th of January, 2018. What do you think? Are you there? Come. You remember Sir Olaniwo Ajayi? Olaniwo Ajayi was an Awoist. He wrote the book, "This House of Oduduwa Must Not Fall." He wrote that book before he died. In the book, "This House of Oduduwa Must Not Fall," Olaniwo Ajayi makes this profound admonition. I read, all attempts to reconsider the structure of Nigeria have been stiffly and resolutely opposed by a section of the country. Nigeria has been under some stress. Decidedly, discontent and anger are all over the place. He continues, the truth, of course, is that Nigeria is merely postponing the evil day by not addressing these issues frontally. All countries in similar situations and circumstances as Nigeria, which have failed to address the issue, have ended up in disaster and tragedy. So when I read this part of his book, I decided to go and look for him in Ogun State to interview him. I also know that what is often said in interviews are measured, perhaps for political correctness. But what is said off the microphone often comes from the heart. So I had two missions. I wanted to hear from him candidly. So the first 2 hours while I was with him, I did not turn on the mic. I didn't even bring it out from the bag. I wanted to listen and tap from his wisdom. He said many things, and everything he said has come to pass. He took me back to history, the secret meetings Obafemi Awolowo had with them, predicting what Nigeria will be. And I also saw regret in him, why they failed to take the bull by the horn at the right time. So, I would later turn on the microphone. And this is what he said. Do you think the North is ready for a restructured Nigeria?
Well, I will prayerfully hope so, because it is the only blessing that Nigeria may have. But I know they will feel a bit tardy in doing so, because they profit a great deal about the present structure of the country, which is against political geometry, absolutely contrary to political geometry, completely. We are different nationalities, different countries. We don't have proper federal system. We should have true federal system. If you have true federal system, there will be peace and progress in this country. We have been sovereign for 56 years, and we are like a small child of 3 or 5 years who cannot walk. If you compare us with Brazil and Malaya and Singapore and Russia and India, where are we?
You said Britain broke all the virtues, ethics, and moral standards.
Yes.
Do you still see Britain that way?
Of course, yes.
You've not changed your perception.
No cause to do so.
You still see them as collaborators in the mess Nigeria is?
Up to now, let them come to tell me that they don't have a think tank stationed in either Oxford or Cambridge. Come out and tell me so. Or that the North has no think tank in America working for them up to now.
So what is stopping the Southwest from having its own think tank working for it?
Look, the West will always incline itself to where power is. Power is not here. Power is in the North.
Always in the North.
It has been in the North since independence.
And now the West is still tagging along.
Unfortunately.
Awolowo refused to tag along.
Well, what happened to him?
He paid for it, right?
He paid for it.
Dearly?
Yes.
Abiola
did. Abiola did.
Will anybody pay again?
I don't know. But a person like me, I will continue the way I have been doing, telling the world what happened to this country, why this country is like a little child of 5 years who cannot walk.
Join the discourse. Call on WhatsApp 080 999 18449 080 999 18449. So when you call, because you are listening on your radio set, there will be delay. So if you are monitoring through your radio, you will be silent. When I pick your call, listen to the phone. You will hear my voice through your phone, not through your radio. And you will join the discourse. If you call and I pick your call and you are not saying anything, I'll cut. So the number to call is 080 999 18449. That is WhatsApp call. Hello, good morning.
Hello, Edmund.
Good morning.
Hello. Good morning. Obembe on the line again. Let me say, in response to what the former Minister of Defense to Buhari said, you see, if you try to argue with some kind of people, for example, if you engage in intellectual arguments with some stark illiterates, most times you have to surrender, because either they will consciously dispute the facts or you will just not be on the same plane. That is the truth, and that is one of the problems Nigeria has been having. You have some people, we've always, mostly times, had wrong people in power. Many times we have the wrong people in power. Then when you try to argue with a person like Buhari, that there's nothing should be called grazing roots, he will simply not understand. And that has been one of the greatest problems Nigeria has had. Take a look at even people from the north. Lamido Sanusi has advocated that all these mosques we build in our houses in the north, we only pray maximum 5 times in a day. Why not use it for education midday or during part of the day, and then use it for prayer when it's time for prayer? It was when he said that, coupled with sending his daughter to address a group at a function, that he was dethroned. They saw it as heart of insult. We have traditions. Some of these people will not just take it. A Fulani man just absolutely believe he has to graze. I speaking with you, I practice ranching with cow. When you talk with them, they make it feel like it's absolutely impossible. I will invite you to my farm, Edmond, when you have the time. We are practicing ranching. Our cows do not disturb anybody. For a sitting president who declared 100 or 150 cows for 4 consecutive elections, remaining 150, still talking of grazing cow as at that 2019. We are suffering from wrong choices of leadership. Good morning.
Thank you, Mr. Obembe. Hello, good morning. All right, I have to cut that caller. How do you call from such a noisy environment? Hello, good morning. All right. Wow. Time. Olaniwa Ajayi there. Hello, good
Hello,
morning.
Mr. Edmond Obilo. Good morning, sir.
Good morning.
Hello, how are you? Yeah. Like, let me start. I'm Adishola Sunday Olumide. I'm using my underline to call you, sir. Like, let me start from where that daddy stops, Mr. Obimbe. Daddy said we are suffering from wrong choice of leadership, and that's what we are in this country. And I think someday we'll take the book by its own. If Sheyi Makinde is listening to this program, I want to say something that they should open school. One thing is causing heartache to me in all of this is that school is being closed down again. In Akure here, I'm serving at a secondary school. We are going about our day-to-day activities. Students are going to school. Do you know another effect of this thing that we have in this country? When you are reading that book, I try to go along with the man. He said we are not taking the root of this problem. We should actually go back to the root of this problem. Actually, it's easier said than done, but I think it's pampering of these bandits. That's where we are. That makes us reach this place. See, I want to say something. That our education system, they want to bastardize it. They want to turn education system to how it is presently in the north. Because you see.
Hello. Are you there?
Why can't we go to school? They should try and open school and students should go to school. That's one of the problems that makes us reach this place. Lack of education system. Our education system, that's the problem that we are in. They should open school and let anybody that are protesting, either school is open or not. Actually, I've been like these days, I don't even know what to say on your program because we are more of talking. But how can we do this thing? What's the solution? But during this week, I heard Oyo State School is being closed down, so it caused heartache to me. Students are lacking behind. An ideal hand is a devil's workshop. Students at home, they will be like devil will be using them. Let's say during COVID-19 lockdown, we see the effects. We see how we are not going to school, how it makes our environment look like. They should allow students, either students are at home, either they are in school. It cannot change anything. People will still be kidnapped. But what is the thing? What is it that we can do? I don't know. It's easier said than done, actually, maybe because my family is not there. But what these people are even, I don't know. The government should just try and not allow this thing to happen again. That's according to the book you've read. You read the book, I think not long, like 20 minutes ago, that we should actually, I cannot be saying this on the program, but sincerely speaking, if you want to eradicate these people.
Thank you. Olumide kept saying, I don't know. So let me relieve him. Hello, good morning. Hello.
You say below?
I can hear you. Make your point.
Yeah, my name is Friday. I'm calling from United Arab Emirates, Dubai. Hello?
I can hear you.
Yeah, so regarding the topic on ground, I don't know if I'm live.
You are live.
Okay, great. So regarding the crisis, the security crisis on ground, my take is this security crisis did not start today. And this is as a cause of the poverty being caused by APC government, right? If we remember back then when Buhari came into power, for 6 months, this man was single-handedly handling all the sector of the country. For 6 months, there was no minister, nothing. So you can imagine, that was where the poverty of Nigeria started increasing. right? Then the coming of Bola Tinubu that would have addressed that on the very first day that Tinubu came to power. What did he come with? The first announcement he could make to Nigeria was that he's removing a fuel subsidy without constituting his own cabinet as well. No economic advisor, nothing. He just came with that Agboro mindset and give that order, which now escalates the whole thing. And this is the reason why you see this insecurity become this much, because even those guys in the bush, they are hungry as well. So they need money, they need to feed. And that is why, that is how it comes about, this banditry and all those things that you are seeing today. It's as a result of the poverty being caused by our leaders. So I think the only way that this can be addressed is by looking on how this poverty can be eradicated from Nigeria.
Thank you.
So,
thank
like
you.
seriously, there's a lot to do in that country as it is now. There's a lot, because this thing has gone too bad that it has eaten deep into our security system, to the extent that even our security personnel now can be used to carry out some of this kidnapping attack on Nigerian citizens.
Thank you.
Why? Because they need to feed, they need money.
Thank you for calling the radio station. Thank you. Thank you. It is Splash 105.5 FM, the Integrity Station. Stay tuned. Stay cool. Yes, last week I brought you an interview. An interview I had with Professor Seun Kolade. Let's revisit that interview on this edition of State Affairs. You have titled your article, Community Defense Must Not Become Private Militia. And this article is born out of Sunday Igbo's recent move. Take us into your article.
Well, thank you very much, Edmund. I've been actually engaging with the issue of security for the past month. I wrote the 3-part series, on that column, Ways of Reason, and then came to these in the wake of Igbo's announcement of his Zero network. Now, I recognize, as we all do, that there is a crisis, an existential crisis across our communities, especially in the Southwest, certainly in Oyo, which have not been known for this kind of, this level of terrorism, bandits, violence before. So, I do recognize. So there is an imperative to respond. There is palpable fear across our communities. And in moments of crisis such as this one, we saw the horrific spectacle of the teacher that was beheaded by the terrorists and the children that are still in captivity. So I think the point I'm making, and which I've made also before, is that there is a need for communities to respond. Communities cannot just sit down and wait for just only government security forces only to act. That is not to absolve security forces of responsibility. But in moments like this, there are new part of vulnerabilities for communities and for us as stakeholders not to think of consequences of certain improvisation that could create, new problems that could be as intractable, as challenging as the current one is. So that is sort of the overarching narrative or the overarching motivation for that article. That it is important for us to respond, but in doing that, we have to do it in a way that looks ahead and that takes care of things that could, go wrong. When you have, private groups, uh, rising up and seeking to speak or to exercise coercive powers in the name of communities that have not authorized them in the first instance.
You said in the article that communities must therefore become active partners in intelligence gathering, rapid warning, neighborhood vigilance, and lawful self-defense. But you said what I reject is the confusion of community-driven security with personality-driven armed mobilization. Can you break it down?
There is an imperative for communities to respond. But who is accountable to who? Who is mobilizing, these actors, and to whom do they answer to? Those are not academic questions. They are questions of very far-reaching and wide-ranging implication for not only for the future of the community, but also for the continuous integrity and viability of the state. And we have seen that, in the northern part of the country, but also outside Nigeria and other countries like Sudan, which I also cited in the article about the Janjaweed that were mobilized by the government and then became instrument of terrors to civilian communities and ultimately precipitated a civil war that led to the breakdown of the country, to the split of the country into two countries. So I think that is so what I expect is communities to be involved from the beginning, a bottom-up approach. And we have seen this before. If you go back to history, across our communities, certainly in Yoruba land, in Southwest Nigeria, but also in other contexts, where it is the community that delegates and nominates people who will hold that responsibility on behalf of the communities and to whom they are answerable to. I think that's the point I'm making. And I'm not saying that characters like Igbo cannot be involved. Of course, they can be involved. I'm just saying that this has to be done right so that from the outside, we know exactly who is controlling what and who are they accountable to. So that's the point I was making. I'm aware that Igbo is quite a complex character. I don't have anything personally against him. I think if you look at Oyo North, there are communities in Oyo North that really hold him very highly because in a moment of distress, he has stepped in. But that's actually a good point in my view to start from or to continue from. But it cannot be a free-for-all situation, especially in this critical moment also where we're going to election times. You and I know that Igbo has, made statement and it's within his right to declare support for whoever he has to declare support for, but there are also some colorful language of threat sometimes coming from the man. And we know he has threatened some harbors in the past and then went back to apologize. So this is quite a complex character that I feel, can be very usable and useful for the urgent, imperative of now, but not without control, not without mechanism. He's certainly not the kind of person I want to, invest with uncontrolled powers. Certainly, in this situation of bearing arms, potentially to address this current crisis.
Is that why you made the point that charisma cannot be the architecture of security?
Absolutely, absolutely. It cannot, And you know what? I mean, I recognize that in crisis times, historically, a moment of crisis, that is the fertile ground. That is the moment in which heroic figures emerge. We have seen that in other countries. We have seen that in other, histories of crisis. We saw that in Great Britain. But you find that in all of the cases where things have worked, it is situations where those charismatic figures are accountable to constitutional authority. I mean, we saw it with Churchill, for example. And as soon as the war was done, it became obvious that he's done his work. He cannot do governance in peacetime. And you saw what happened. The electorate voted him out of power after the war. But that was possible because in those moment where you exercise that charismatic talent to rally the nation, it was still subject to lawful constitutional authority. Without that, you are going to have a situation that has happened in Uganda with the Lord Army, with Janjaweed in Sudan, and we have seen some of that also in the Niger Delta, where certain leaders have emerged. They have operated as a paramilitary forces outside of state control, and there have been, reported, accounts of conflict with communities. So exactly. So charisma cannot be the architecture of long-term sustainable and lawful resistance to terror. It can, in fact, be a channel to new problems in the future. And we have enough evidence. We have enough intimations of that. We have enough to learn from as a country and as a community.
Dr. Kolade, are you alarmed that Yoruba land has become a theater for terrorism analysis?
I am alarmed. I'm beyond alarmed. I'm horrified by it. But you know what, Edmond, this is not unexpected. This is not surprising. As alarming and as horrific as it is not surprising to me. Just 5 months ago, I convened a summit of tech enthusiasts, of community people, stakeholders, young and old alike, to discuss this very issue in December in Oyo. That this security, we cannot sit and wait for it to come to us in December. And the whole purpose of that is that sometime in Southwest, maybe in the South, but particularly in the Southwest, we revel in this illusory idea of this cannot touch us. But we easily forget that we live in a contiguous country. There are no borders. When you are coming from the north to the south, they stop you somewhere and ask for your visa. So there are no borders. So it is illusory for us to think that what is happening in the northwest, in the northeast, is never going to come down to southwest. And that is the warning I had made for many years, and certainly in December. I'm alarmed, but it's not surprising. This was going to come at some point. And it's also possible that there is an intent to it with the political climate, that this is also meant to instigate, certain kind of reactions and response on the populace and from the government and so on. But this is not entirely surprising. I think it speaks to the failure of society, to the collective failure of society. Of course, government first and foremost, because they imbue with that, a coercive power, that singular monotony of the instrument of force. So the bigger responsibility falls in the hand of governments from the federal level, which is the highest level because they control the military, but also from the state. But it's also a failure on the part of society as well, not just government, because this was long coming. And I'm not trying to blame the victim. Like I said, the state authorities bear the bigger chunk of responsibility. But as a society, we need to understand what is coming and how do we respond, how do we organize, how do we ensure we are tracking suspicious strange movement in our communities, how do we ensure that we have mechanisms of rapid response, of early warning, of rapid response, how do we ensure that we organize to bring sustained pressure to bear on the on state actors, on the police, on the security forces, because before there was a state, there was a society, there was a community. So if the state is failing, you have to go back to the beginning. I made an argument in an earlier column also on this, on the wheel of reason, that is the society that must be the instrument of revitalizing a failing and a weakening state. But if society itself has fallen into a kind of cultural atrophy and collective apathy, then we have a bigger problem. And I would hope to God that the spectacle of violence, of horror that we have seen, the beheading of that, gentleman like a ram, and the continuing captivity of children, we at last, awaken the collective consciousness of us all as a society that this cannot be. What have we been doing? That is my hope, because without that, nothing is going to change. But I hope that we have crossed the Rubicon as a society, and that can lead to this kind of response. But that response has to be measured, has to be carefully thought. It doesn't have to be reckless in order for it to be urgent.
So does that mean that the community-driven security structure you recommend is not the final solution?
No, I mean it's not the final solution. There are no final solution in that sense. But I strongly believe it's a critical response. It's a necessary and critical response. The community is not going to usurp the role of the state. Otherwise, what is the point of the state? We may as well do away with the state. I think the central argument I'm making is that community need to rise up to do what they can. Like I said, early response communication.
It is Splash 105.5 FM, the Integrity Station. The program is State Affairs. I am Edmund Obido. Say, there is a good news. Character of leadership can change. Not by sitting on a couch and hoping that the powerful will grow a conscience. Character changes by demand. The people, organized and unafraid, can demand a different kind of leader. Not one who promises heaven. Those are always liars, because no politician has ever delivered paradise, and no politician ever will. But look out for that leader who admits the hell we are in, who names it without coloring, and who has the character to lead us out step by painful step. How do you recognize such a leader? Let me give you 3 signs. Because in a season of false prophets, we need a measuring rod. First, a leader of good character does not blame the other tribe for your suffering. He blames the system, the rotten, captured, self-serving system. And he names it clearly. And he invites you to change it together, because he knows that no single tribe can save a nation, and no single tribe can break one. Second, that leader does not silence critics or imprison journalists or send thugs to disrupt town hall meetings. He listens to critics because a leader who fears criticism is a leader who already knows deep down that he is wrong. Third, he does not cling to power. He builds successors. He plants trees he will never sit under. He writes a will that leaves the country to the young, not to his children. That is character. That is love, the political kind, that is rare, so rare, that when you see it, you should run towards it, not away. We are recording this in 2026. The 2027 election is coming like a train that reminds us of the rumbling of a system that has learned nothing and forgotten nothing. The courts are fighting over timetables, issuing contradictory judgments from Abuja and Enugu and Oyo. INEC is fighting over factions, recognizing this chairman and then that chairman, turning political parties into legal battlegrounds. The opposition is fractured, but not paralyzed. The plan was to render them unrecognizable to the very commission that is supposed to guarantee a fair fight. And the question is, what is the character of the man who wants to lead us? Not his tribe, not his religion, not his party, not his network of godfathers and godchildren. What is his character? Is he kind in the small moment when no one is watching? Is he honest about the money he has taken and the promises he has broken? Does he weep when children die in unnecessary violence? Or does he see their bodies as statistics to be managed? Does he rage when the poor are stolen from by the rich? Or does he consider that the natural order, or does he consider that the natural order of things? Because if his character is rotten at the core, it does not matter how many courts he captures, or how many timetables he rigs, or how many opposition parties he fractures into meaningless factions. The violence will continue. The ocean of endless blood will remain an ocean of endless blood if we do not change the character of the political system. The children of the Northeast will still wander hungry, and the farmers of the Middle Belt will still flee from terrorist herdsmen. The youth of the Southeast will still dream of a republic that does not hate them. And one day, perhaps sooner than we think, there will be no country left to fight over, just a name on the map. Come with me. Let me take you back to 2021. I don't want you to forget. I want you to always remember. Don't always be carried away by the moment. The moment is fragile. Always think of the past too. So, I will remind you of this action of the past. On the 11th of February, 2021, the Nigeria Governors Forum agreed that the time had come to transition into modern systems of animal husbandry that will replace open, night, and underage grazing in the country. In a communique issued at the end of its 25th virtual meeting, the governors agreed to put in place systems to accelerate the grazing initiative of the National Livestock Transformation Plan and Ranching in Nigeria. Hello. Then came Bala Muhammad, governor of Bauchi State, on the 11th of January 2021. 11th of January 2021. Bala Muhammad made a point. I quote him, "On the headers farmers clashes, you have seen what our colleagues in Southwest are doing, and some of them in Southeast." Bala continues, "Some of us told them with all modesty and humility, you are wrong. But the person that is most wrong is the governor of Benue State, Samuel Otom." Bala Muhammad continues, "If you don't accommodate other tribes, we are also accommodating your people in Bauchi and other places." In a Friday statement by his media aide, Samuel Otom, or Otom as the case may be, wondered why Bala Muhammad justified lawlessness on the ground of cattle rearing. Otom could not understand why Bala would encourage herdsmen to wield AK-47 and kill others. Otom reminded us that it was the same Governor Muhammad who once said on national television that the Fulani man is a global citizen and therefore does not need a visa to come to Nigeria, and that the forest belong to herdsmen. Are you there? Mind you, herdsmen terrorism is one of the national questions awaiting a conciliatory answer. It emphasizes the ethnic dimension of the politics of the Nigerian state. As tension grew under Buhari, by the non-resolution of the nomadic cattle practice in contemporary times, governors in Nigeria lost patience with the killings and destruction tied to the practice. Coming out forcefully is the governor of Benue State, Samuel Otom. You have heard Samuel Otom on the show already. So, what I will do now is to bring you Otom, bring you Bala, bring you Otom, and bring you Bala. Otom is no longer governor, but Bala is still the governor of Bauchi State. I don't want you to forget. Please, do not. Samuel Otom is here.
This question of arresting those who oppose to Fulani men. I also heard about the press statement issued by the presidency when the governor of Ondo issued a 7-day ultimatum that the Fulani should leave the forest. The presidency came out swiftly and said that it is wrong for him to say that. But when people are killed in Benue, killed in Ondo, killed in Ekiti, killed in Taraba, killed in Jigawa, killed in Zamfara, killed in all these places by these herdsmen, and they come out, there is one Fulani social cultural organization called FUNAM who came out and claimed responsibility and said that they are going to do more. They will mobilize Fulanis from all over the place to come and take over Nigeria, that it is their ancestral land. Presidency did not say anything. But they quickly ordered the arrest of an activist who stood up to speak and to work against his people. What else will you do? When you see your people being killed, you see your people's farm being razed down by herdsmen, what else will you do? It's just the same thing. The World Terrorist Index have described Fulani as the 4th terrorist group in the world. But up to today, they have not cared, the federal government have not cared to declare herdsmen as terrorist organization. And they have gone further to form Mietiala, Cattle Hore, Mietiala, Cattle Breeders, Mietiala, this one, Funam, that one. And federal government is romancing with them. And federal government comes out to defend them. Anything, time something happens to them. But when they cause pains in the lives of other people, federal government will keep quiet. Federal government have gone ahead to ban iPod. Why can't they ban? What did iPod do that they went ahead and banned them? This one that Fulanis are taking over everywhere under the watch of the presidency and they're not saying anything. What is the meaning of that? What are they trying to say? When you talk, they will come after you. Some people are afraid in this country to talk because if they come, EFCC will come after them. ICPC will come after them. Security agencies will come after them. They did that to me. And I went to court against them and I won. They did that to me. They tried to impeach me. But by the grace of God, I survived. So these are the issues. So why do you need to go and talk of that man must be arrested? How about the Fulani men that killed people, remove people's eyes, give people gradual killing? Have you made any attempt to arrest them? All these things are all over the place on social media. And that is why I'm calling on Mr. President to act fast. Otherwise, it will be late. And all of us will be consumed. We may wake up one day and we'll discover that we don't have a country called Nigeria again.
State Affairs with Edmond Obilo is live.
I will tell you something that I told my colleagues about the herders and farmers clashes in Nigeria. You have seen what our colleagues in the southwest are doing, and some of them from the southeast. Some of us told them with all modesty and humility, you are wrong. But the person that is most wrong is the governor of Benue State, my brother and my colleague, Governor Otom. He started all this. If you don't accommodate other tribes, we are also accommodating your tribes in Bauchi and other places. We have so many people working in farming in Al-Kaleri, farming in Tafawa Balewa, farming in Bogoro. Has anybody told them to go? We have not, because they are on inalienable right to be there. We have Yoruba people in Bauchi for over 150 years, even before the birth of Nigeria. Nobody has talked to them. Some of them have risen to become permanent secretaries in Gombe, in Bauchi, and in Borno.
State Affairs with Edmond Bilo is live. Stay tuned.
And now, because a Fulani man is practicing the tradition of transhumance, pastoralism, he has been exposed to the vagaries of the forest, the animals, and now the cattle rustlers who carry guns, kill him and take away his commonwealth, that is the cows. He had no option but to carry AK-47 because the society and the government are not protecting him. What is his fault? It's the fault of the government and the people. You don't criminalize all of them because in every tribe there are criminals. If cybercrime is being practiced mostly by one tribe, you don't criminalize the whole tribe that they are criminals. We should be very sensitive.
There is a lot of mistrust and misconception with regards to the Fulani man. The Fulani man is a global or an African person. He moves from the Gambia, from Senegal, and his nationality is just a Fulani man. And as a person, I may have my relations in the Cameroon, but they are also Fulani men. I have relations because from the maternal side, I'm a Fulani man. And that is why we want to educate people. A Fulani man sees himself as a Bayelsan, as somebody coming from the Niger Delta, because he speaks the Niger Delta language, which you and I don't. And of course, we would have to just take this as part of our own heritage, something that is African, and that we cannot just close the border and say the Fulani man is just a Nigerian or this. No. In most cases, the crises are precipitated by those outside Nigeria. When there is a reprisal, it is not the Fulani man within Nigeria that causes it. It is that culture of getting revenge, which is embedded in the tradition of the Fulani man, that attracts reprisal from all over the
If
the
I
world.
understand it, does that mean that those Fulani men who are maybe domiciled in other countries who move around, they can come into the country and this plan will accommodate them as well?
Yes, that's what we want to do. But it has to be done through sensitization, telling them you have to buy in the project, and you use the language, the culture itself to be able to convince them, away from the mistrust where the whole system of transhumance or pastoralism is criminalized. Criminalization of pastoralism is the problem that we have with this project. And it requires people with passion who understand them and who they believe in, people like us from that part of the country, to say, yes, we have this. Because today there is no limit to the accusation that this and that has happened and it is the Fulani man who caused it. There is no tribe that is not, that you don't have this criminality in. But certainly the way and manner we do it is really exacerbating the crisis and the problems.
State Affairs with Edmond Obilo is live. Stay tuned.
And now, because a Fulani man is practicing the tradition of transhumance, pastoralism, he has been exposed to the vagaries of the forest, the animals, and now the cattle rustlers who carry guns, kill him and take away his commonwealth, that is the cows. He had no option but to carry AK-47 because the society and the government are not protecting him. What is his fault? It's the fault of the government and the people. You don't criminalize all of them because in every tribe there are criminals. If cybercrime is being practiced mostly by one tribe, you don't criminalize the whole tribe that they are criminals. We should be very sensitive.
State Affairs with Edmond Obilo is live.
I must thank our chairman of the Northern Governors Forum at this occasion, because we are talking of the use of media to promote peace and unity in Nigeria. I think he is a hero in that field. Governor Lalong, with his diverse background, with his minority background, He is leading the northern governors with focus, with a lot of sense. You, the media, you must make sure you single out such heroes for promotion, not those people that will speak from Ekiti or from Ondo, that Fulani should leave their forests. Nobody owns any forest. The forest is owned by Nigeria. Under Section 23, 24, 25 of the Constitution, every Nigerian is free to stay anywhere. And let me tell you, nobody had the freedom of matriculations or speaking anyhow. Anybody can speak anyhow, but we are exercising restraint.
Here we go!
State Affairs with Edmond Obilo is live. Stay tuned.
I wouldn't want to be joining issues with my brother and friend and colleague, the Bauchi governor. But since he has chosen to continue to vilify and intimidate and blackmail me, it is said that silence is consent. I am compelled to respond to him. And I am beginning to think that my brother, the governor of Bauchi State, is part of the terrorist Fulani organization that is terrorizing this country. Why do I say this? This is the same governor who took oath of office to protect the Constitution of the Federal Republic of Nigeria. The Constitution of the Federal Republic of Nigeria does not leave room for allowing foreign herdsmen or foreign Tea people or Fulani people or Yoruba, as we see people all over the country, to come in without valid papers. This is a man who said that the Fulani man is a global man, so he can come in from anywhere and enter Nigeria. It is quite disappointing to hear a governor who took oath of office. Maybe he should go back and rehearse the oath of office he took, whether allowing foreign terrorist Fulani herdsmen to come into Nigeria, whether he is protecting the Constitution of the Federal Republic of Nigeria. And of course, his outburst recently that Fulani herdsmen are justified by carrying AK-47 to protect themselves. I don't know where the Constitution of this country, of the laws of our land, allows any man or woman who is not licensed by security agencies to carry even den gun. Even den guns are licensed. How much more weapons like AK-47, AK-49, and several other sophisticated weapons? And so he came to justify this, that they are free and they can live anywhere. And the Land Use Act, let him go back and read again. Land Use Act permits governors, like here in Benue State, I have the sole authority over land. If federal government comes here to execute a project, they ask for land from me. And until I grant the certificate of occupancy, they cannot, whether in the forest or any part of the land. Let him go back and read the Land Use Act. Because as governor in your state, you hold the land on behalf of the people.
Here we go!
State Affairs with Edmond Obilo is live. Stay tuned.
I will tell you something that I told my colleagues about the herders and farmers clashes in Nigeria. You have seen what our colleagues in the southwest are doing, and some of them from the southeast. Some of us told them, with all modesty and humility, you are wrong. But the person that is most wrong is the governor of Benue State, my brother and my colleague, Governor Otto. He started all this. If you don't accommodate other tribes, we are also accommodating your tribes in Bauchi and other places. We have so many people working in farming in Al-Kaleri, farming in Tafawa Balewa, farming in Bogoro. Has anybody told them to go? We have not, because it's their own inalienable right to be there. We have Yoruba people in Bauchi for over 150 years, even before the birth of Nigeria. Nobody has spoken to them. Some of them have risen to become permanent secretaries in Gombe, in Bauchi, and in Borno.
And so even his so-called response to try to run away from this thing, it implicated him more. Because what he said was on national television, and everybody heard it, and his defense for saying that did not go well with us. I think the governor of Bauchi State, my brother, Governor Bala Mohammed, should just come out and apologize to Nigerians. It will be consoling, because we all make mistakes. And if he apologizes, it will be appreciated. But to continue to argue is inflicting pains, especially on some of us that have been victims of these Fulani herdsmen. And we're thinking that he's part of the conspiracy to wipe some people away, including Benue State. And this is not correct. And I want to think that with what he said, and what those herdsmen wrote to me that they were going to assassinate me, Bala Mohammed is also part of it with what he had said. And if anything happens to me, I don't want anybody to be in doubt. Bala Mohammed should be held responsible, especially his last week outing altered the condemnable remarks he made about Fulani carrying AK-47 and living anywhere in Nigeria, whether in the forest or all that. He came back to say that Otom is responsible for the hatred against Fulani men. And I regard this as a way of vilifying me, as a way of profiling me towards assassination. And because he wants to instigate the Fulani people against me. I'm not against Fulani people. Fulani are in Benue State and they remain here. Some of my best friends are Fulani people and we relate very well. I am against the terrorist Fulani herdsmen coming from Mali, from Niger, from Senegal, from Gambia, from Cameroon, from Ghana, and other parts of the world who want to seize our land and take over and create problems.
And now, because a Fulani man is practicing the tradition of transhumance, pastoralism, he has been exposed to the vagaries of the forest, the animals, and now the cattle rustlers who carry guns, kill him and take away his commonwealth, that is the cows. He had no option but to carry AK-47 because the society and the government are not protecting him. What is his fault? It's the fault of the government and the people. You don't criminalize all of them because in every tribe there are criminals. If cybercrime is being practiced mostly by one tribe, you don't criminalize the whole tribe that they are criminals. We should be very sensitive.
Governor Bala Mohammed should learn from Governor Ganduje of Kano State, who came out as a Fulani man and provided a solution on how to resolve this matter. If there is no hidden agenda, Governor Bala Mohammed should take a cue from the governor of Kano State. He should also take a cue from the governor of Kaduna State, who is against the terrorist herdsmen, Fulani herdsmen. He should take a cue from them. Governor of State have not hidden his hate on those foreign Fulani men who come with AK-47 and are killing his people. But Bala Mohammed should take a cue from him. He should take a cue from scholars who are of Fulani origin, but they want peace and they want the unity of this country, who have come out to criticize foreign Fulani men coming here with AK-47 and killing people, maiming, raping, and committing all sorts of atrocities. This is what Bala Mohammed should learn. You see more Fulani than those people that I'm calling. How about the Sultan of Sokoto, who came out openly and said that out of 10 kidnappers today in Nigeria, 7 or 8 of them are Fulanis. These are Fulani. Is he more Fulani man than the Sultan of Sokoto?
State Affairs with Edmond Obilo is live.
Okay, you have listened to those exchanges. Let me hear from you. Call on WhatsApp 080 999 18449. 080 999 18449. That's the number to call.
Hello, good morning, Edmond.
Hello, Deji Yesufu. Good morning.
Yes, I just wanted to give you an update to just let you know that we are all in this thing. For the first time in my children's life, they couldn't go to school on Friday. Schools are closed in solidarity with the teachers that were captured and students. And they have been calling on private schools also to join the airport. So my children didn't go to school on Friday. And we do not know what the new week is going to look like. I wanted to also add that when Europe was going to develop, Europe began to pay attention to education. In fact, there was a rat race to educate the mind. The reason was because at some point, all of Europe, because they have minimal lands and they have so many people, they began to fight each other. So there was a need to reason, develop more weapons, and defeat the other person. At some point, they realized, okay, they can't continue fighting forever. So they formed themselves into nations and so on. And it was after they had formed themselves into nations that the scramble of Africa began, and they also divided Africa and all of those things. But the point I'm trying to make was that the education became the fulcrum, the means to move to higher ground. Today, Europe and the Americas are developed nations. This whole issue of medieval fighting, cutting people's necks, barbarianism, it's gone. They don't deal with those things anymore. But we're still dealing with it here. My children couldn't go to school on Friday because barbarianism has reached us in the Southwest. Let me finish on a positive note. And the positive note is this. Historically in Nigeria, Nigeria might be having challenges as long as the Southwest is not involved. But now that they have involved us, we'll find solution to it. And those of us who have an education, if it means we're going to have to pick up weapons and solving this problem, we will do it. Thank you very much, Edmond.
Thank you, DG. Thank you. If the like of DG is talking about weapons, picking up weapons, then we are moving towards anarchy. Hello, good morning.
Hello?
Good morning.
Yeah, good morning, Mr. Edmond. This is Mr. Miwa from Melele, and I'm glad to join your program this morning. I'm really glad. You see, when I listen to the voice of the governor of the Bauchi State, Bala Mohammed, I'm really disappointed because I wonder why you could be uttering such words in the public space, because you are encouraging more foreign Fulani to be taking over of our land. And these foreign Fulani, they are really barbaric. They perpetrate a lot of atrocity. Look at the villages, the way they kidnap, rape people across all states, from the southwest to the north part. This thing is getting to us closer every day. And I'm using this medium to tell all the governors to wake up. Wake up, because the more you relax, the more these people continue to attack us. And I'm calling on also our own governor here, Governor Sheyi Makinde, to rise up to the challenges, because there are some mistake I think our governor made in the past, saying we only have two federating units, which is the federal and the state. This has affected us in Oyo State because security are local. Security are local. There are so many ways the local government can come up with an idea to secure people in the villages. But you have discouraged the local government. You don't have the power to reinforce security into the forest. Can the governor build everywhere? It's not possible. But you keep discouraging the local government. And this has become so rampant in the whole country now. They have sidelined local government totally. And this is our problem we are facing. Hello, can you hear me?
I can hear you.
Oh, so this has become our major problem. I don't know why they discourage the local government to function. They are not performing because the governor thought he can secure the state by himself. Shimake can never be everywhere. It's not possible. These are the work of the local government to empower the vigilante, community vigilante, to secure the villages. But now, these people are really close to us. Look at our forest. They are there. They are in the forest.
Thank you.
We are no more safe. No place is safe now. Please, help us to talk to the governor to stop saying we have two federation units. The constitution recognizes local government, and so local government should be on their own.
Thank you.
Without the governor interference. Thank you so much.
Thank you.
Thanks so much.
It is Splash 105.5 FM, the Integrity Station. Stay tuned. Stay cool. bandits are at the edges
yes.
of Yoruba land.
Yes.
Bandits are conquering territories.
Yes.
Kwara is under siege.
Yes.
What's going on?
Honestly, I didn't expect that I would have to comment or discuss the current government or what is going on under the watch of Tinubu. For two reasons. One, very personal, and second, philosophical. Maybe sometimes you get to a stage in your understanding of people and events that you think commenting or talking about them will be a waste of time. I mean, you have a man, you have somebody who is probably defecating on the streets or urinating all over the place, and you know that more than 1,000 people have told him, stop urinating here, and the person continues. So you, as a wise elder statesman, you don't want to comment on that anymore, because what do you want to say that is going to be different from what 1,000 people have said, and there's been no change? But I respect you as an intellectual broadcaster, and all the leaders of the APC, all the prominent leaders, said it publicly that they invited bandits into this country to drive away Jonathan. So the bandits we have, by their own admission, were created by the APC, were enhanced by APC, were influenced by APC, That's why they will say, some APC leaders or the agents will say, bandits are our brothers. When they repent, we reabsorb them. They told us that they brought bandits. They told us that when bandits needed women, they went to Chibok and gave them 360 girls.
Did they say that?
Go and research. They admitted, there was no way 360 girls would be taken away from anywhere on earth without government involvement. It's not possible. The logistics. How do you take 360 people from a school, whether in the night or in broad daylight, without agents of government being involved? It's not possible. And we've had Abacha several times being quoted that when insurgency lasts more than a week, government has a hand in it. There's no way where are these insurgents, all these bandits? How could they transport 360 people? How could they? The buses, the whatever, the logistic. Where would they take them to? How would they feed them? How would they close them? It's just not possible for a small organization like bandits to take 360 people. So it was facilitated by people in power. There's no doubt about that. So now the APC is still the government in power. It's difficult. It's difficult for them to chase away their children.
Is it intentional or it has gone out of their hands?
Out of control.
If they brought it.
Yes, it was. Rufai told us when he was still a leader of the APC that that they also paid them, say, please go back to where we brought you from. That even when they paid them, they still refused to go because they enjoyed the patronage they've had, and they continue to stay. And of course, anytime they kidnap or anytime government gives them money, they're empowered to bring in more people. And then Buhari went to Cairo and said all Fulani anywhere in Africa should come to Nigeria. And like I said in one of my commentaries, when he was inviting Fulani from all over the world or from all over Africa to come to Nigeria, he was inviting poor, wretched, criminal Fulanis.
But are you worried that they are occupying territories?
Of course I am. I am very worried. In fact, before all this banditry, I'd always, for the past 50 years, I've been calling for resolution of national question. I've been calling for, I first started with confederation, but I later found that confederation will not even solve the problem. The best solution to this contraption is this de-amalgamation. That's the only solution. That's what's going to stop the banditry.
De-amalgamation is equals to dissolution?
Yes, de-amalgamation, yes.
To your tent to Israel?
Yes. Let the Igbos go, let them have their own country. Let Yoruba have their own country. Let the Ijaws have their own country. Let the Hausa have their own country.
The Hausa will be landlocked.
There are so many landlord countries in the world. In Europe, in Asia, so many landlord countries in the world.
Are you saying Nigeria cannot work?
The way it is run, it will never work. Never.
The way it is run?
The way it is run.
If the way it is run is modified?
It cannot be modified. I mean, in my autobiography, when I mentioned this question of whether through gun or through fighting, I then zeroed in on mind. That what will probably change the situation we are in is if the mind can be tamed, if the mind can be reached, if the mind can be reorientated, if the mind is the master of man. The bandit has a mind. The governor has a mind. The leaders have minds. So mind is the master of man. If they can change the mind, and that change can only come again from leadership.
What kind of leadership?
Philosophical leadership. A philosopher king, as Plato defined it. The man who has a master mind is the only one who can redefine mind. Not an empty-headed person that will redefine mind.
Do we have empty-headed persons occupying positions at the moment?
Of course, we know that. I mean, if people are not empty-headed, they will not be stealing with impunity. How can anybody steal 91 billion naira? I mean, if the person is not empty-headed, I quoted a pastor, I've forgotten his name, I think it's just, I can't remember now, who said that some people are so poor that all they have is money. It's only a brainless person who will indulge in reckless accumulation of wealth and property.
Bandits have been around in Yoruba land.
Yes, it's frightening.
But now, the occupying bandit is approaching.
Yes.
They are in Kwara.
Yes.
What should we do?
For immediate solution, what we can do is for government to be firm. But I can't see that happening. Because newspapers carry the stories, television stations, and so on and so forth. Everybody knows. All those in government know what is going on.
It is Splash 105.5 FM, the Integrity Station. The program is State Affairs. I am Edmund Obilo. I want to read a press statement that was released by Rotimi Akeredolu of blessed memory. The press statement was released in 2021 while he was the governor of Ondo State. It reads, "We read with dismay the outburst in the purported statement by the Bauchi State Governor. We are persuaded to believe he didn't make that statement." Akeredolu continues, "If indeed Bala Muhammad made that statement and owns up to its content, it then means that the Bauchi State Governor has declared on behalf of the federal government an executive order which now allows all Nigerians, herdsmen inclusive, to carry prohibited firearms like assault rifles for self-defense. That is exactly what Governor Bala Mohammed has done and displayed by his conduct, which brazenly depicts that whether other Nigerians like it or not, Fulani herdsmen must carry AK-47 for self-defense, while other non-Fulani herdsmen must remain unarmed to be perpetual victims of arms-wielding bandits. Rotimi Akeredolu continues, "By that statement by Bala Mohammed, the governor has in one breath agreed that indeed Fulani herdsmen carry AK-47 and at the same time encouraging all to do likewise. The Bauchi governor has by this conduct and attitude ushered into the next level on the path of anarchy. The Bauchi governor has by his conduct and attitude ushered us into the next level on the path to anarchy. Akeredolu says he is not fit for public office. Persons of such disposition and character is not fit for public office. As long as Nigeria's consideration remains unchanged, it is still unlawful for any unauthorized persons to carry prohibited arms. The statement by Bala is most despicable, highly recommended for the dustbin of careless talk." Akeredolu continues, or Akeredolu concludes. So what do you think? So the line is open. Join the discourse. Remember, hit the nail on the head. We are rounding off the show. I won't give you much time to say everything you want to say. So the WhatsApp number to call is 080-399-18449. If you don't round off when I'm saying thank you, I'll cut you off. Hello, good morning.
This is Diane from Ring Road.
Good morning.
Yeah. Thank you very much for the insights that you are giving, to us concerning what has been brewing for a long time that we did not even pay attention to. For instance, considering what our own governor, Seyi Makinde, was saying concerning the Fulani herdsmen, then saying that they are not our enemies, perhaps he did not see what was going to happen in the future then. But look at where we are today. So it is a case of seeing a monster and using your hand to rub the monster's head until it became something too dangerous. And then we'll turn around and consume you eventually. Perhaps because Bala Mohammed, which is his good friend, who is in the same party with him now, he does not want to, offend them. That is why he made such comment. The same problem or mistake we would say our President Tinubu also made, when he went into some alliances with, this element. Those people would defend their own people no matter what. You can imagine what the governor of Bauchi State was saying, that they have the right to carry AK-47. So what should we now say about our own people? Is that not also like a blank check for the rest of us to also defend ourselves? So these are things that we need to ponder about. And our president, Bola Ahmed Tinubu, I believe he needs to wake up and make critical decisions that will put a stop to this form of impunity from a particular section of the country, thinking that they own all the power and they can do whatever they like. So, and now, to conclude, I want to say this reserve, forest reserve that we have, especially the ones that we have in the southwest here, that are not giving us any form of revenue with regards to tourism or wildlife or whatsoever, I think it has the use of it, I think, is obsolete. Perhaps we need to clear it and turn it into farmland, especially the areas that are very, very close to the villages, to create a buffer zone whereby these people cannot just come out quickly and kidnap people. And this is something that should be done as quickly as possible, involving maybe timber or logging companies to cut down the trees.
Thank you.
And then, thank you very much. Let me just stop here.
Thank you. Hello. Good morning. Hello, good morning. Can you hear me? Hello? Some legend, good morning.
Morning, ready, man. Can you hear me?
I can hear you.
I just want to contribute to the discourse between former Governor Samuel Oto and Governor Bala Mohammed. Can you hear me?
I can hear you, Sam. Make your point.
Okay, thank you. From the argument, when Governor Bala said everybody is permitted to, everybody that comes around to live in his own state are welcome, that same Fulanis are welcomed everywhere, I think that argument lies flat, because the other tribes that are going to other places, they are not kidnapping people. They are not using their animals even to graze in people's farm. They are not pastoralists. So if you are to look at that argument, Governor Bala is not. I think is mischievous. I could sense mischief from that from his comment. People are allowed to move around, but criminals are not allowed to move around. You can't say because you are Nigerian constitution permits people to move around, then you now be oppressing people, terrorizing people in their own farms. So of course people are allowed to move in every part of the country, but terrorists are not allowed. Bandits are not allowed. You cannot say because the law of the land permits people to move. Thereby, you come to my domain and you begin to graze on my land. You begin to bully me. So that argument doesn't fly at all. You asked us to compare the two of them, the back and forth. I was very disappointed in what Governor Bala is not saying the whole truth. He's trying to. I could perceive mischief from his response. People are allowed to move. Fine. I can wake up and go to Gombe and to Sokoto, to Ebonyi, to anywhere. But am I law abiding there? You can't go to people's place and take their land and graze their farmland and commit nuisance there and become nuisance there, and you expect them not to talk. I think a criminal is not allowed in any other part. If you're law abiding, you can live anyway. Thank you. That's my comment. Thanks so much.
Thank you, Sam. All right, that's the last call I'll be taking on this edition of State Affairs. As our last call for the day. Say, the courts are ruling, sometimes for the opposition, sometimes against it. And the opposition is bleeding from 100 small courts, each one inflicted by a judge who claims to be neutral. And 2027 is coming like an exhausted train. Will it bring a leader or just another character dressed in different colors, singing the same old song? Stay with me, stay angry, stay hopeful, not because hope is easy, but because despair is a luxury that the powerful have already claimed for themselves. I am Edmond Obilo. It is Splash 105.5 FM, the Integrity Station. I worked with Shola Areo and Bosun Alayode to bring you this edition of State Affairs. The next program is Gbangba Lashata with Abiodun Adewale. Stay tuned.